Now I got to figure out a better way to freaking stream other audio. I don't put this on YouTube, or I don't put full pieces of it on YouTube, so I probably won't get kicked off. But for those of you that don't know what that is or didn't get a great enough version of it to even, recognize the lyrics, I do apologize because like I said, it really is going to go with the call today. The music I typically listen to is just to put me in the right music or right mood. So that song was Mr. Red, White, and Blue by Coffee Anderson. Coffee Anderson. So if you've never heard that song, I would seriously go listen to it. And I don't care what nation you live in. I don't care what country you're from. It's national pride. And, it has to do with the war in Afghanistan and this and that. And, how his dad, I think his dad was in Vietnam or Korea or something, and had basically his entire life fighting the VA because he got Agent Orange or some shit like that. And the VA finally came through. If you listen to Coffee's story, it's freaking amazing because he was struggling to make it in the country music world. It's Mr. Red, White, and Blue, Javier. So Coffee is struggling to make it in the music world. He's a country music artist. He's sucking ass. Like, no one's picking up his songs. Everyone told him the song Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Like, Toby Keith was past. The whole patriot, the whole nationalism song thing was over. Like, he needed to make some new, better country music. And he kept just going over and over again, kept trying to get his art out there. And one day he was at a county fair or a country fair or something like that. And this lady walks up to him out of nowhere after hearing him play a song and just starts bullshitting with him. And he doesn't really have any intention of, doing it. Like, yeah, he's trying to get on stage. He's trying to get his art out there. But like, he's not looking for, hey, here's my shit. Pitch, pitch, pitch. He's just trying to connect with people and see what he could do. So this lady comes up to him, chats with him, and he looks at her in the eyes and says, ma'am, let me ask you, appreciate you being around here. What can I do for you? And Coffee is struggling to get his art out anywhere at this point in time. And she looks at him and she says, well, I run 17 county fairs in the state of Texas, and I need a performer. Book 17 gigs that day. I think he said he booked him for like $10,000 a fair or something like that. So more money than he has ever made booking it. And it was just going out and doing what his dream was, going out and operating with emotion and passion and not giving a fuck what others think over and over again until the opportunity was given. And instead of trying to force your way into the opportunity, hard sell your way into the opportunity, trying to convince everybody how great you are, he said, how can I help you today? So I want you to think about that. And then the other part of that song is just the emotion of it, because I know I've got a lot of veterans that follow me. And even if you're not a veteran, even if you're not an American, we're all, the way I look at it, we're all Americans, because I don't look at like what we do, and don't take this the wrong way. I know I got some Germans and shit on here, but like, we're all human is what I should say. We're all people on earth. It doesn't matter what country, what continent you're on. We all have this connection. And what I'm going to go into today is something that it doesn't matter what race, creed, part of the world you're from. We all have the exact same internal makeup for the most part. Male, female, those are a little bit of different. There's very, 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 very little genetic differences between races. Like, it is like 99.9999% the same. The changes are slightly different. Male, female is the biggest. Other than that, nothing else even shows up on a fucking DNA chart. So what are we going to talk about today? I wanted to get emotional because we sell on emotion, and emotion pushes us further than anything else. Now, I know I promised you some NLP stuff. Going into this book, and if anybody wants to get the book, it's called The Big Book of NLP. Try studying that shit with me. I'm like 3 weeks in right now. I'm not ready to teach it. I understand it at a theory level. I use it every day. I do not understand it enough to teach, so I'm not going to bullshit you. But going down this journey is taking me down this other journey of, okay, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we were learning how to learn better. We were learning how to enjoy it. And a lot of you took a lot of that. I got a lot of good feedback, reading with your finger, going back to elementary school style, increases your reading speed. I've had 2 people now say, hey, I've pretty much got my internal voice out of my head when I read, which that's fucking hard. I still fight that son of a bitch every day, but it speeds up your ability to read and learn. So, I mean, if you're going to be on these calls, if you're going to read a book, if you're going to do any of that, why not learn how to do it better? So this is kind of the contrary to that. This is like, how do I implement these things in my life to get better? Because so here's what we're going to talk about. Let's get to the 4 main topics, or the 4 main chemicals of our of our makeup that really just keep us alive. You've got endorphins, you've got your dopamine, you've got your serotonin, and you've got your oxytocin. We've all heard of those four chemicals before, and we all have a general idea of what they do. Barney style, they keep you alive and they keep you motivated. They keep you driven. That's what they do. If we didn't have those chemicals on our body, why would we wake up? Why would we push hard? Why would we do really anything in life? Well, whether you believe in creation, science, like whatever it is, they're in us for a reason, and it's to keep us alive, it's to keep us focused, it's to keep us driven. And a lot of times in today's world, we forget about it, right? Because how many of you had to go find like, you know, 4 of your bros back in the day, and you left your freaking family to go walk 10 miles to kill a fucking reindeer to bring it back to the tribe? Has anyone like done that for like survival? Anybody? Not really. We just don't do it anymore. Like, worst case scenario, I've got like 2 rednecks on here, and you're like, I do, motherfucker. I'm like, bitch, you drive your F-250 out there. Shut the fuck up. Like, we're not hunting and gathering anymore. Yes, I know there are a couple unfortunate people in the world that may have actually done what I say, but in the United States and most first world countries, that's not a thing we have. As a matter of fact, a lot of us, like myself, we're terrified to go to the fucking grocery store late at night nowadays. Like, the shit gets fucking scary. So we don't have those dopamine and endorphin rushes that we used to get from hunting. And a huge part of that is we've replaced it with Facebook, social media. We've replaced it with shitty food, you know, quick little hits. And I want you to think, how many of you, like me, have been addicted to alcohol or drugs at some point in time, right? I think we all have. I mean, fuck it, a lot of that shit's fun as fuck. So I think if you haven't tried, I'm just kidding, do not try it. It's bad advice. But when you have that addiction, you want more of it. You want it so fucking bad. You will sacrifice your future. You will sacrifice money. You will sacrifice relationships of people that you truly in your heart love, like truly, truly love and would never hurt. And that's where a lot of people don't get it. Like, as an alcoholic, you know how many times I've been like, well, I didn't mean to hurt you. And I'm like, well, did you even think about me? I mean, kind of, but not really. But like, if you've never had that level of like addiction in your life, you don't actually, I don't think you can understand what that means. When someone asks you, did you even consider how it would make me feel? And you can legitimately look at them and go, no, not really. It made me feel okay. Like, that's the level of rush we need through these fucking chemicals to chase our future, to get better at sales, to push a little bit more in our job, for when the day sucks, the week sucks, to get back on the horse and fucking try again. And we've got to quit depleting our system. We've got to quit getting the quick hit, because the quick hit keeps you happy, keeps you comfortable, but then it doesn't allow you to get that hit that you really, really want, the big old rush, the big old rock. You know what I'm saying? So let's break down these chemicals, all 4 of them, talk about how they work and talk about how we produce them. Because ultimately, if I can get myself back to a caveman state and I can make my business not just convenient, if I build this big business, I sell a bunch of shit, but if I can make it an addiction, if I can make it something I have to do to survive, I will be able to push myself further every day. And when I'm grinding, when it's not fun, when it's fucking hard, like, you know, back when you were walking 5 miles to go get a freaking wildebeest or whatever the hell you were stabbing with a little stick thing, like, how do I keep going? And then when I kill that fucking animal, how do I hump it back freaking 5 miles to the tribe? All these chemicals allow humans to do that. And that's what separates us from a lot of animals. Because think about it. Does an alligator need to go out? No, alligators are scary as shit. They got scales to protect their body. They've got nasty ass teeth that'll fuck shit up. Same with like a great white shark, right? They've got like 8 rows of teeth. That way, if they lose a couple, they can still kill. They can still eat. Look at humans. Like, take away our brain, take away the frontal cortex and the ability that it gives us to communicate with others and, like, you know, operate as a tribe. Human beings are not meant to survive on Earth. Like, if you take away our ability to think, create tools, and communicate with others, and our advanced communication patterns that we've developed through our frontal cortex and a bunch of other shit, amygdala and all that, we would die. Like, you give us a stick, we might fucking fight off a bear once, but the second one's going to get our ass. Like, we are not meant to survive on this earth without our brain, without the chemicals that run through it. So endorphins and dopamine. Let's go over what those two are so related. What do? They encourage us to get shit done. It is that simple. Your endorphins and your dopamine encourage us to get shit done. If we did not have those two emotions, humans would have died off a long time ago because we would have never had a drive to go hunt. We would have never had a drive to survive. We would have sat around, we would have gotten hungry, we would have gotten to the point of near starvation. When fear takes over, then we would have gone out, tried to find an animal. And since we had no drive to get it, we probably would have died of starvation trying to find the son of a bitch. They also, your endorphins and your dopamine, when you do accomplish something big, when you finally make it the 6 miles of tracking the elk, when you finally get there and you get the kill, it also gives you, and this is where dopamine comes in, we'll get to it later, but it also gives you that rush of a win. Like dopamine is a drug essentially that we can create ourselves, that we strive for every single day. Humans operate on dopamine from fighting to completing a huge project at work, hitting a goal that you didn't believe you could, a one-night stand. All of that is a dopamine rush. And men, I know you guys are freaking all craziest here. How many of you maybe had a one-night stand or maybe a relationship that wasn't that important to you, but it was a great little high for that night? And you made a stupid decision that night to get into that. And women, you've probably done the same thing, but I have to speak from the male perspective because I don't understand you guys at all. But like really, we all make stupid decisions. Now, that's a little oxytocin and dopamine. We'll cover that later. But we love that rush. We love that quick hit. How many of you tell yourself you're not going to get on social media, you're not going to do this and that, but you end up scrolling reels for an hour and you didn't even realize you were doing it? It's because you're constantly getting a little dopamine hit. It's because you're sitting there with a fucking a needle of freaking heroin in your arm and you're just putting a little bit at a time. Shit, you got it hooked to a fucking IV. That's what they've created. So what is endorphins? Let's start with endorphins first because that's simple. That is simple, but this is going to open up a few things in your mind. They're going to be like, shit, maybe I need to do this. So endorphins are built to mask pain. That's all they are. Endorphins, they call it the runner's high or the runner's drug, whatever it is. Endorphins are built to mask pain. And they mask pain by giving you a sense of pleasure. So think about it. Think about a marathon runner, right? 26.3 miles or 2 miles or way too fucking far. That's all I know. I'm not a marathon runner. I hate running. So marathon runners, and they've always talked about the runner's high, like all it is an endorphin rush. Because have you ever, think about this, have you ever gone for a run, right? And it hurts at first, and then you start getting into it, and it's like getting a little bit better. You get a little smoother, you get quote unquote looser. And then after, maybe depending on if you're a runner, not mile 5, 6, 7, 20, 100, if you're David Goggins, like the pain starts to suddenly come in. Well, you were actually in pain the whole fucking time. I just want to let you realize that. But you ended up having an endorphin rush that hid the pain with pleasure. And that pleasure was based on whatever you're trying to accomplish. The cool thing about endorphins is you don't really release them here. Like you can't physically think about shit to make them release. There is one way to do it, but it's like it kind of just happens. It's to protect your body. What it was made for is hunters and gatherers, straight up. Like they were going to go out, they were going to go fight an animal, they were going to go walk forever, they were going to go do a bunch of shit they didn't want to do, and it got them through it. There is really just 2 ways to release endorphins. Well, 3. And we're going to cover the third one because it's the only one you can control. Actually, you can control all 3 to a certain extent. There is 1, exercise. Exercise gives you an endorphin rush. 100%. When you are when you get under the bench, you put on a little bit more weight, do you feel a mass amount of pain? Maybe some discomfort. Maybe your muscles are like, God, this is going to be bitch. And if you're really pushing, you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to tear this bitch if I push a little bit more. But you get it done. And immediately there's no pain when you drop the weight. Realistically, in your body, there is an ass ton of pain going on right now because you just slightly tore some muscles. But your endorphin rush from the workout is masking the pain with the pleasure. And then lactic acid sets in 2 days later, you're in living hell. But endorphins allow you to push. So you can get the endorphins by exercising. You can get the endorphins by manual labor. How many of us are in a manual labor gig nowadays? Okay, I didn't see any hands go up. Okay, there's like one guy. Are you a fitness trainer? What do you do, man? Harley.
I do roofing. get a girl from that one. He's a
Do you-
Klux Klan member.
You're too loud. I'm gonna mute you. So you do roofing, man. Whether if you're nailing in shingles or freaking tile or whatever, yeah, you're doing manual labor. If you're jumping on a roof just to do an inspection, I don't know, man. You look like a pretty fit guy. Stay in the damn gym. Keep it up, dude. But most of us, real talk, we aren't in manual labor anymore. So let's just cut that off the block. We're not going to get an endorphin rush from getting our ass beat every day. We're not going to get it from digging a ditch in 120-degree weather in Phoenix, Arizona, midsummer. The only other place that we can get an endorphin rush, and we can cause this one ourselves a little bit easier, and I've said this on a few of my calls, is by laughing. Laughing actually gives you an endorphin rush. And the reason is we use laughing alone to mask pain. How many times have you met someone where you've been like, dude, this is not an appropriate time to laugh? Like, that's my entire life story. I think shit is funny as fuck that shouldn't be funny. Like, I'm talking, I come from a military background. I was, around in the Army I've deployed to Afghanistan. That is when the time I was in the Army. And like, there is shit, people getting legs blown off and shit like that. Where I remember sitting at my buddy's desk, like I was in Germany at the time. Him and I deployed our first deployment together. He went to a new unit, deployed again. He got his fucking leg blown off. I think 2 or 3 days later, I was able to get up to Rammstein to see him. And the first thing I do is I walk into his hotel or his hospital bed. He's missing a leg. He's missing half a freaking nut. Like his entire side is fucking, they've been doing like 5 surgeries in 3 days at this point, and they're pulling shrapnel out of him. He looks like an idiot. And I make a joke about him not getting any the rest of his life. And we both fucking laughed about it, because when you're in a state like that, you need to mask the pain. The pain is only temporary, but the pain fucking hurts. So when you're able to, laugh about something, that's just a human connection to freaking get through a situation. So quit being so fucking sensitive in this world. Quit trying to tell yourself you're not allowed to have fun. Quit trying to tell yourself you're not allowed to laugh at a bad situation, and try this. Try to laugh when something bad happens and see how long you could stay pissed off. Like, real talk. Have you ever seen the thing where, for example, let's say Nick and I, right? Nick and I, we could do this exercise. Nick and I go back and forth, and I say, hey, Nick, I want you to copy me. We're going to laugh. And I go, ha, ha, ha. And then Nick goes, ha, ha, ha. And we do it for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I can't remember. There's a YouTube video some doctor did of this. After about 6 seconds, a person, they both end up breaking up in consistent laughter and can't quit laughing. So by just forcing yourself to do it over and over again, and ended up actually triggering the endorphins, ended up actually triggering your mind to find something humor of just some stupid shit we were doing. The awkwardness creates pain. And then guess what? You mask the pain with pleasure, which is the laugh. And the laugh itself is painful. Your body is contracting over and over and over again when you're laughing. But do you feel it at first? Absolutely not. What happens is in the endorphin spike, they hide the pain with the pleasure of laughter. You get a big smile. You get that, arms, hair sticking up on your arms, and you feel good. And then what happens if you have a fucking buddy or you're at a comedy show that's actually funny and keeps you laughing? At the end of it, you're fucking hurting. You're sweating a little bit. Your gut's hurting a little bit. You're starting to cramp because the endorphins are wearing off, and you're getting to that point. Same thing as a marathon runner. The endorphins die. The freaking crowd goes down, they fucking run 23 point some miles and get a banana for a fucking award. And they're like, shit, it wasn't even worth it. And then all of a sudden the pain of running 23 miles comes in. Here's the cool thing about endorphins. As humans, like I keep saying, we would have died off a long, long, long time ago if it wasn't for endorphins, because we're not supposed to walk 15 miles to get food. We're not supposed to do all that shit. Our body, our muscle makeup really isn't built for that. And pain typically stops us. Pain typically stops animals for the most part. There's very few animals, the buffalo being one of them. Most animals, for example, avoid pain. Like when there's a storm. Most animals, when there's a big old storm, rainstorm, windstorm, lightning storm, will walk away from the storm. They will try to get away from the storm by getting out of it, by never getting into it. The problem is the storm gets them, they keep walking, they're in it longer. The American buffalo is and it's probably because he's an American buffalo. If he was a French buffalo, he would have retreated. I'm kidding if there's any French people, but the German found that shit funny. The American buffalo, instead of running away from the storm, actually turns into the storm and walks right through it. And it ends up decreasing the time in half of how long he's in the storm. One of the few animals that will take pain to get through it. Humans are the same way. We will go through our pain to get where we need to be. Now, I don't know about the chemical makeup of a buffalo. I just wanted to talk shit to the French for a minute. So let's talk about dopamine. Woo. Let me get a thing of C4 energy drink. Reel guy, if you see this, make sure you make me a reel on that. I need a sponsorship. The shit's getting expensive. All right. Dopamine. Where the hell was I? Dopamine is the drug we get that makes us feel good for accomplishing something big that we did in life, right? Dopamine is what allows us to continue to chase over and over and over again. It's the feeling of satisfaction of completing a task, especially if it's a task that you didn't think you could get done. It is, it's used when we originally looked for food. Like literally everything that I'm talking about today goes back to prehistoric time, goes back to the caveman days, because our bodies did not evolve that much. The way we got these rushes has evolved tremendously. And in a way, it's fucked us up because we don't control it. So dopamine is probably one of the most powerful things out there because it'll keep you coming back for more. Like, I want you to go back to a time, and this might for some of us, this might have been a long, long time ago. And I hate to say it, it might have been high school. It might have been, it might have been college. It might have been maybe your first 10K month, first 50K month. It might have been something. But I want you to go back to a time when you did something that you didn't think you were going to do. And maybe you've never had this rush before, but when you did something that you didn't think you could accomplish and you fucking got it done, or you accomplished something that everyone told you can't do this. You're never going to, it's not for you. And you went and did it anyways, and you got it done. Or, maybe you were that high school athlete, that starting quarterback, and you won the state championship. There's maybe one or two of you that did something like that, or you scored that goal to win the game. Like that just huge rush where like all of a sudden you're almost blacked out, and it's just like you're flooded with emotion. And, some of you freaking cry. Some of you can't even say words. Some of you get on the press interview afterwards and mutter some stupid shit. Like, think about that high in your life. Like essentially it's like, let's see. I don't think I see any kids on this call. Let me just go to my next screen. All right. No kids. It's essentially like having an orgasm all day. Right. And it's fucking crazy because I've never done heroin, but a lot of times I've heard from heroin addicts that it's kind of like an orgasm all day. And in a way I say I haven't done heroin, but I mean, I've had a couple surgeries and fucking oxy's a hell of a drug. Anyways, back on point. But like, imagine if you had that rush like multiple times a day, every single day. Well, you do. The problem is this dopamine rush I'm talking about, that high level of great feeling, is we ended up masking it. And we ended up getting a little hit all fucking day instead of the big hit that we desire. So I want you to think about this for just a second. If I'm a drug addict, and whether you've ever been addicted to things or you've never done a drug in your life, I think most of you have a general idea that by being an addict, like you will literally, like if you've ever seen someone tweaking on the side of the street, they will literally do everything to get another hit. Like I tell a lot of people this. This is one of my quote unquote objection handlers. And it's not an objection handler. It's just talking from the heart. As I might hit you with like a $99 product or whatever. Hey, dude, you got to do this. If you're not where you need to be, man, we got to get you on this program. We got to change everything you're feeling. Well, look, I really can't afford it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't afford it, man. It's $99. And some of you are like, motherfucker, you use this on me. Dude, it's $99 fucking dollars. If a crackhead is tweaking a little bit and he needs $99, and even if I tell him he cannot do anything illegal, he'll find $99 in 20 fucking minutes. I guarantee it. So how about you take your success as fucking crucial as a crackhead wants to hit a crack? The problem is most of us won't get that level. The problem is most of us don't give a shit about our life to that level, but we can because we want to. We just can't figure it the fuck out. We can't figure out how to be addicted to success. We can't figure out how to be like fucking crazy that I'm going to win and I'm going to do it at any cost and I'm going to give up everything if I have to. And I don't want you to give up everything. I don't want you to, give up your family and the shit that matters, but I want you to actually get the level of rush that you get from winning. I want you to actually be addicted to what you're trying to do. So it's not a drag. It's not hell. It's not, beating your ass every day. It's something that you wake up every morning and want to chase. You wake up fucking itching and you're like, shit, I want to get the damn day going. How do I do it? I have got to give myself a reason to fucking be hungry. Have you ever gone to the grocery store hungry as fuck? And you just got paid 2 days earlier and you're fucking hungry. You forgot to eat. It was a busy day. You end up spending like $650 at Safeway. You take your shit home and it's like fucking frozen this, frozen pizza, this nasty shit, 6 bags of chips, and you're like, what the fuck did I do? And then think about it. Think about the time you go to the grocery store and you literally just went out to, dinner with the wife, and you guys are just run into the grocery store real quick before you bring the kids to bed on Sunday or whatever it is. You don't really have much time, but you got to get it done for the week. And you buy like 3 fucking things and it's like $50. You get home and you're like, fuck, I forgot everything I needed. Okay. The reason is when we're hungry, we want more, and we strive and we get everything that's in our way. If you fill me up, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah, I don't need meat this week. Like, what are you talking about? You don't need meat this week, bitch. You got nothing in the freezer. What are you going to make? Yeah, I'll figure it out later. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not hungry. So our issue with dopamine is it's not that we deplete so much our dopamine, because you hear it a lot. Like you deplete your dopamine receptors. That's something more for drug addicts and, severe trauma in life. Yes, you can do it chemically in certain situations, but realistically, we keep it full, but we keep it comfortable. We end up, scrolling reels on our phone all day. So it's dopamine, 3 seconds later, dopamine, 3 seconds later, dopamine. And we end up, when we're hungry and we're feeling like, one of the best ways to get a dopamine rush that kept humans alive is when you eat food, you get a dopamine rush. So that actually made us want to go grab fucking food to eat it, because we got the rush, we got the hit, we got the drug. So like a crackhead, we would do so much to get that crack, to get that hit. The problem is food's too fucking easy to get now. So what do? We end up eating food that's healthy for us or unhealthy for us. We end up eating the bag of salt and vinegar chips. We end up eating the frozen pizza. And by the way, I keep saying that because my wife was gone and telling me she got back yesterday, and I was, a single bachelor for 9 days or 5 days or some shit like that. And I don't know how to cook, so I might have had a frozen pizza or two late at night. Anyways, I'm back on my diet now. It was a rough 5 days. I'm glad she's back. I'm not an adult. So we end up getting those little hits every day. Lunch comes around, is like, hey, Tim, what are you doing for lunch? I don't fucking know, man. Dude, you want to go get us a Whopper at You Drive All By? Yeah, you've all said that stupid shit. And then we get the dopamine rush there. And then we're waiting for Tim, we're getting the dopamine rush on our phone. And then when we go home, the house is pretty clean already, and we get the dopamine rush there. And when we go to the gym, we kind of half-ass it. So we don't get the endorphin rush, but we get the dopamine rush because we were at the gym and we did what we were supposed to do, and we were just around, and we get all these little itty bitty dopamine hits here, dopamine hits there, that we end up not needing it. So here's what you need to do. If you want to crave a goal, if you want to win at all fucking costs, you need to put yourself in a place of sacrifice and hell. Like, real talk. You need to eliminate social media. Like, something I'm doing right now, and you guys are going to see, is I'm basically, because of what I do, I can't completely eliminate social media. I got to have a little bit of a brand out there. I got to have my, I run like the Car Sales Nation page or the Sales Nation page and shit like that. I'm going to basically post my reels in the morning, stay off of it all fucking day, and then for 1 hour in the evening, take care of Car Sales Nation and shit. So follow me on Facebook if you want to see if I actually do that shit. But I've got to get, my camera went stupid. I've got to get to the point where I am not getting those dopamine rushes all the time. Because, let's be real, my job is social media. My job is having this. I get an endorphin rush. I get a dopamine rush. Hell, I get an oxytocin rush on this fucking call. This is awesome. I'm getting it all day. But the issue is, what if I take this as my high? What if this is my crack for the day, and it's enough to get me through the entire day or entire week, and I just wait till next Wednesday to get the hit again? Yeah, Tuesday I might start itching. Tuesday I might start wanting it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill all of that little itty bitty time with these little itty bitty things, and I'll have no reason to go get that big, big, big rush. Think about something you really, really love. Maybe you're the type of person that travels. Maybe you're a wakeboarder, or you like being on the water, or maybe you're a fucking cokehead and you like a really good binge from time to time. Think about what happens when someone takes that away from you for months, and you could just feel it, taste it. For a lot of you that might be married, or maybe some of you single guys and gals out here, think about if you haven't got any in a while, your brain goes a little bit wild and you start fucking imagining shit, and you want it, and it's all that's on your mind. Imagine if you gave yourself that same feeling, but it's success. It's getting the job done. It's hitting my quota. It's whatever it is. You can, but you're going to have to erase a lot of those little itty bitty insignificant wins. You're going to have to erase all that little hit, that little you know, that little bump. You guys know what I'm saying? That little itty bump that's just going to get you through the day. You know, it's the end of the month. You're running out of cash. You got to figure out some shit. I mean, car salespeople are like, I know what he's fucking talking about. I'm just saying, car salespeople aren't that bad. Yes, they are. But you've got to get rid of, fuck you, Greg. You've got to get rid of those little itty bitty hits. Because if you don't get rid of those hits, you keep yourself just filled up just enough to not get nasty, to not get hungry. You need to make yourself so hungry. Don't go into a depressive state. The cool thing about this is you won't actually go into a depressive state if you eliminate the shit. You'll probably actually get a lot better because you're going to get the bigger wins. You have got to make it so, you've got to crave it so much that your mind is 100% focused on it. You've got to be in that village. Take yourself back to caveman days. You've got to be in that village. It's you, it's some girl that you clubbed and you married, or however the fuck they got married back in the day. And like you guys made 4 kids and there's like another family and it's you and another person. And the family's starving. Everyone's getting sick. They're malnutritioned. It's been a shitty drought. You know, if you ever played Oregon Trail back in the day and you overhunted the area, you can't fucking shoot any more shit because you're an asshole and you guys were eating like a fucking king for a while. And you and some other dude have got to go on this like 5, 6, 7, 8 mile journey, hopefully to find food to bring back to your family. And nothing else matters because you're fucking starving. Nothing else matters because you need this win. You have got to get so just hungry for that win that nothing will get in your way. And we're going to bring ourselves back to that human drive that a lot of us have lost because the world is so comfortable, especially. And here I'm going to dog the United States of America for a little bit. That way I'm fair. Is like, dude, in the United States of America and Germany included, our lives are pretty fucking good. Like the worst shit we got to worry about. I mean, shit, dude, Germany, especially, y'all can be fucking not work. And like, you guys got a lot of social service programs. Am I right? Like, I know we think we do in America. There ain't no homeless people in fucking Germany. Like, let's just be real. Like, yeah, there's a few here or there. It does not look like San Francisco. I'm just saying that shit. And like the worst place you could be in Germany or America is like the best place you could be in some third world countries. And we forget that and we get comfort with it and we don't fight. John, not to leave out Canada, I've just lived in Germany as well. So when I keep going back there, I have a little bit of, knowledge of Germany. But yeah, Canada's kind of cool. It's like America North, kind of. We don't claim you guys. Or America, yeah, whatever. My bad. I love Canada. British Columbia is cool. You guys invented hockey. We perfected it. Anyways, how do we get these rushes? How do we see it? Another thing is, so eliminate the small rushes. But another thing is, back in the day, like everything was visual, right? How many of you, if I told you UFOs exist, you'd be like, yeah, whatever, dude, quit listening to Joe Rogan. You're crazy as fuck. But then if you and I were out and I'm like, hey, dude, no, 100%, we're going to go see UFOs tonight. And I walked you up to a fucking UFO and there's a stupid fucking alien that pops out and goes, blah, blah, whatever aliens say. You'd be like, holy shit, UFOs exist, right? The best way humans believe shit is we have to see shit. We can hear shit. We can taste shit. We can smell shit. Like straight up, we can smell shit. But if we don't see the shit, do we 100% know that it's shit? No. But if I smell it and I walk around the corner, I look at the bottom of my shoes and I'm like, shit, I stepped in dog shit. Ha, certified that's dog shit. If I'm laying at night, how many of you have a dog or cat or have ever had a dog or cat in the house, right? How many of you have been laying in bed at night and you hear a stupid sound and you're like, pretty sure that's a dog or cat, but I'm not 100% sure because it's kind of a unique dog or cat sound. They probably knock something over and you get out of bed and go check. If you're like me, you grab a gun and get out of bed and go check because you're a paranoid son of a bitch. Because we don't 100% believe things until we see it. So we have to start this, and I'm going to move fast over this part because I don't want to go too much in the goal setting, but that's why you got to write your goals out. That's why you got to be visual with like your perfect day exercise and write out what your plan looks like. So when you're chasing this dopamine, when you're chasing these endorphins, when you're pushing through the pain, you know what you're actually achieving. And then this, how many people agree? Like, think about this for a second. Whether you use this number that I'm about to give you for income, whether you use it for the number that's sitting in your bank account, your net worth, once you figure out how to get your bank to $10, you're a teenager, you're always broke, you're taking it negative until every paycheck, and then you get it right back up, only to take it negative again a little bit. You pay the $36 fee, and that's just how you live. Basically, you live $36 per paycheck because you always overdraft the account. Like a lot of us were there as a teenager. Or, you know, if you're back in my day, you used to deposit a check and do the ATM and it would take like 2 or 3 days to clear. So like you would try to time up getting gas, because gas would usually take, like, you'd get a $1 charge and then it would take like 3 days for it to actually hit the $50 or the $26 that you put in your car. So like you would try to time all the shit out. Sometimes you'd get an overdraft. Sometimes the check would hit soon enough. Like, we've all been there. But once you kind of get to the point where, you know, you have $100 in the bank, it becomes easier to keep at least 100 in the bank. And then all of a sudden you work a little bit more and you got 1,000, and then it's easier to keep 1,000, or it's easier to make $1,000 a month. And then all of a sudden you hit that 10,000, that 5-figure mark, something that you can visually see. Once you hit it, all of a sudden it becomes a lot easier to hit it again. It becomes a lot easier to keep $10,000 in the bed, or in the bed. Someone said something about sleeping with an AR. And I'm like, yeah, I used to do that. And then I got a little crazy. Anyways, so once you have $10,000, you know, payable to you, you see it, you visualize it, you're like, holy shit, I can feel it. It's real. I know it's true. It's easier to hit because you know it's something you could do. You believe it. Same thing with 100,000, million, so on and so forth. Here's something I struggle with a lot. And this is a lot of, you know, without going political, without going too crazy, you know, it's rude to talk about your income, right? Politics, income, sex. I'm going to talk about it all because screw all that shit. The only people that don't want you talking about your income are the people that own factories and industrial bullshit, right? They don't want you talking about income because they don't want, you know, you to know how much Phil makes. And then you realize you put in 5 times the amount of work as Phil, but he's getting paid $2 extra an hour. And you're like, fuck this. And then it saves them money. The issue is we don't talk about income, and we don't talk. And I'm not talking about bragging about income. I'm not talking about being an asshole out there and flaunting shit for no fucking reason. I'm talking about someone who actually gives a shit about their life, sharing with them and them sharing with you. Because if I don't know Greg's making $100,000 a month, and if Greg didn't tell me that 2 days ago, I would have never known Greg was making $100,000 a month. So if anyone needs a loan, hit up fucking Greg. I don't think he's paying attention, but if he doesn't, I mean, he may, but I don't know. But if he never told me that, and I was in the same industry as Greg, I wouldn't know that I could actually achieve that. Now that's hearing one thing. Now, how many times have you heard someone, that's a little inappropriate. We're not going to go there. Better analogy. How many times have you heard someone say, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, we're all salespeople. Let's just be real. Like, anytime a car guy, and I'm dogging car guys again, because that's where I come from. Anytime a car guy tells me what you make annually, I fucking divide it by 2 to 4. Like, just real talk, because car math is crazy. It's like, hey, dude, it's going to be $400 a month. Come on in and get the car. You get there, it's $499.99 a month. And they're like, oh, dude, I thought you said 400. I'm like, is that not a fucking 4? Do you not know fucking numbers? Like, car math is bad. So like, when you tell me you make 6 figures as a car guy, it's like, oh yeah, I make about like, I'm getting close to $1 million. Oh, dude, what'd you do? Like 102,000. Well, yeah, it's closer to $1 million than fall. I'm like, whatever, dude, that's fucking crazy math. Car guy math is jacked up. So a lot of times people tell us something, but I'm like, Greg, there's no fucking way you're making $100,000 a month. And he's like, bet, bitch. And I'm like, well, I got $26. Let's go. We shake hands virtually. And Greg sends me a copy of his W-2 or his paycheck, $103,264.33. Exactly. Here's, show it to everybody. I'm kidding. This didn't really happen. But if I were to visually see that paycheck and know that it went to Greg's bank account, then I'm like, holy fuck. Then it really becomes real, because my eyes just saw what I've been told. And now I'm going to focus on it. So when you're chasing these dopamine rushes, when you're chasing these endorphin rushes, you've got to visually see what the win's going to look like. So write it out. See what it is, and visualize as much as you can. So dopamine, endorphins, those are the 2 chemicals that keep you focused, that keep you driven, that keep you pushing day in, day out, that mask the pain and just really push. Here's we are social animals. We as humans love to be part of a group. And serotonin and oxytocin allow us to stay tight in circles and get wins from those circles, get wins from the people around us. So they create a circle of safety. They create something that you feel like you have people around you that you could trust, that you could believe in, that'll have your back. They create social behaviors, the way we interact with others. Without serotonin and oxytocin, we would be like many other species on Earth. I would have killed half of you motherfuckers right now for my own survival, because I'm awesome. Like, real talk. A lot of species out there kill their own species. Why? Because it's just a matter of survival. You got to eat. You got to have space. If there's too many, males in certain animal species, too many males, and we don't need any more males to breed because it's just male, female reproductive. If I can study it if you really want. But if there's too many males in a tribe and I can handle all the ladies, like I don't need another dude, so I'm going to kill your fucking ass. Like real talk. That is how animals behave. And if you look at a human being from a perspective, we do fall under the animal tree. We are a type of animal. We are a mammal. If you go down the little fucking chart thing of Geno, whatever the hell it is, we are in an animal class. However, we have the frontal cortex. We have our amygdala. We have everything that allows us to reason, that allows us to make decisions on our own that aren't 100% dictated by survival. We do have chemicals that keep us to survive, but we also have the ability to think. So serotonin and oxytocin keep us part of a tribe, because back to my thing about alligators, right? Humans are not meant to survive in this world. We are weak. Our skin is weak. Our muscle mass, we don't compare to a fucking gorilla at all. We don't have sharp teeth. We are actually, we like eating meat. I'm sorry if you're vegan and vegetarian, that's fucking weird. And it's trust issues there. But like humans, we eat meat. Fucking science. I'm sorry to say it. We eat meat. Like it is easier to kill than it's easier to grow. When we're hungry, we kill. So we are not like, look at our teeth. We don't have sharp fangs. We don't have teeth that will destroy and rip into flesh. So we had to create tools. We had to kill with our hands before we could just go chomp down on the wildebeest, right? So we're a very unique creature because we operate in packs. Because if humans did not operate in a pack, we would have been gone a long time ago. So the reason we stay safe in packs and the reason that we trust it is because of the serotonin and oxytocin release. So let's break it down a little bit more. Serotonin, it is the feeling of pride. Serotonin is that feeling of pride that you get from the perception of others. Listen to what I just said there. It is the feeling of pride you get from the perception of others. How many people have said these stupid fucking words? I don't care what people think about me. Okay, I think for a certain degree of truth, that is true. Most people don't get, well, I don't give a shit about what any of my haters say, but you guys actually give a fuck about what you guys think about me. And I really, really do. That's why a lot of times, like I'll get a DM or I'll get a text, dude, your shit was fire, man. I appreciate it. I did this, I did that, I changed this. And I'm like, fuck, dude, those messages really do mean the world to me. And I'm the most hardest ass, like military. I don't show emotion. A lot of times people tell me I need to smile more. Like even my hard ass that I have this like shell on occasionally, I'll admit I get a warm and fuzzy when someone says, hey, dude, good job, man. Hey, dude, you changed my life. Like it's just, it makes you feel good as a person. Now be careful with that, because don't let all the haters tell you, you can't do this. You're a piece of shit. You're blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck them. I really don't give a shit what they think. And a lot of times I think it's fucking funny what they think. Like some of my hate comments are the funniest things I've ever read in the world. So I actually use my haters to give me an endorphin rush because I don't know, it's fun. But we as humans want to be part of a tribe. So quit telling yourself you're a solo person out there on this big old world all by yourself, because you're not. You're holding yourself back if you are. It doesn't mean your circle has to be huge. It doesn't mean you have to be a man of a million people, but you're going to need in life a good handful of people. You could probably count them on one hand. Those are going to be your true inner circle, your, ride or die type fucking homies. Like, let's just be real. And your ride or die homies probably aren't your fucking homies. Like these are a new group of people that truly, truly have your back. Because the feeling of pride as perceived from others is going to give you that strong sense of, accomplishment, strong sense of confidence. Like, yes, you can work on your own internal confidence, but I know this. I know when someone tells you you're fucking awesome, it's kind of like it just gives you a little chip on the shoulder to keep going. Like, if you ever played sports or anything, like, yeah, you could think you have a killer game, but when someone random person you don't even know walks up to you and is like, dude, you fucking killed that, man. Like, I've never seen some shit like that before. You're going someplace. You walk around with a little bit of chip on your shoulder. But if you had a killer game and then all of a sudden you got off the field, excuse me, and your coach just started ragging on you, and I get it. I get corrective criticism, even when you have a fucking A+ performance. But like, if every time you got off the field and your coach was like, hey, Roberts, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, you got the touchdown in 2 plays, 72 yards, but you missed the X on the left. He was more open than the Z. I mean, yeah, you threw the touchdown pass. You were good, but dude, fucking Jones was open way left. Oh, what? I threw a touchdown, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You get on the field, fatty. So you need that reassurance from others, because that's going to spike your serotonin. Think about this. If you think I'm wrong or you're not sure how this works, let's break it into an experience almost everybody has. Well, you may have never experienced this because half of us are idiots, but everyone can kind of predict this. You should have seen James's face. He's like, I'm not an idiot. He's like, oh, James, just let me finish. High school or college graduation, right? We can all imagine what it looks like. Some of us may have not been there. Some of us may have even, like, I personally walked for high school. I dropped out of college, but I had a couple buddies who actually graduated, like got their diploma on time and just like skipped graduation. I was like, cool, dude. So think about high school and college graduation, though. Hell, they even have graduation for like kindergarten and 5th grade and shit. Now that shit's stupid. Anyways, you literally go up there and you stand in fucking line for 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on how big your school is, to get a piece of paper and shake hands with someone that 90% of us don't fucking care about. Like, logically, it doesn't make any fucking sense. However, it gives a lot of serotonin rushes. Because here's the cool thing about serotonin, and here's how you increase serotonin in your life. Because I'm actually trying to coach people today. I'm trying to give you some tips. I'm trying to give you some tools how to go get these drugs. And only these 4 drugs. Don't do other drugs. Drugs are bad. Dare to stay off drugs or some shit like that. Anyways, serotonin, how do you get it? 1, think about graduation. MDMA is... it's more of an oxytocin for MDMA, but we'll cover that in a bit. Anyways, serotonin. Yeah, I give you some serotonin too. I walk up to graduation, right? I've been pushing so hard. I've had a lot of dopamine hits. I'm getting the win after win. And then all of a sudden there's this big old stage and there's all these people that are going to recognize me. And I walk up there, I shake hands with this teacher, administrator, whatever the fuck it is when you graduate. The principal shakes my hand. He or she gives me my diploma. Ooh, I get that rush. Now think about it. What if they just emailed me my fucking diploma? Is there any difference from an email diploma, or maybe if they actually ink signed it, like they mail it out on a, heavy cardstock? No, there's no difference. I still have a stupid piece of paper that I throw away that's fucking worthless. But when I have that ceremony, when the hundreds or thousands of eyes are on me and me only, I don't even think about the 400 fucking people behind me. When it's on me and I'm shaking the principal's hand and I get that paper for the 4 years of bullshit that I put up, boom, I get that rush. Now here's the cool thing about serotonin. And here's where generosity and everything kicks in. You know who also gets the rush? That fucking principal. He or she is going to get that rush 400 fucking times as she shakes every student's hands and hands them diploma and is able to give them. So when you're a leader and you're able to give your employees that rush, you're going to get that rush too. And you're both doing drugs together now. You're both getting that fucking high. And then here's the third level of it. Mom and dad. They're sitting back in the crowd, 150 feet off stage. And they're like, holy fuck, I honestly thought they were going to drop the fuck out. They were going to be a crackhead. I don't know how the fuck Jonathan graduated. That's the stupidest fucking shit that ever happened. We must have done fucked up something right. Like, real talk. And then the parents get the rush because they get to see their 18 years of fucking up their kid actually come to something. And they're like, holy shit, I get this win. So one of the greatest things about serotonin is all you have to do is be grateful. You have to give. You have to, go out there and apply. Thank someone. Tell them they did a great job. And everybody gets a fucking rush of serotonin. Like, imagine this. You're walking down the street, right? You're walking down the street. It's, let's not go New York, but let's go like Middletown, America, like medium-sized America. So there's a handful of people everywhere, but everybody's got their space. No one's bumping in. And there's this old man. He's walking about 40 feet in front of you, and it's you and your girl or you and your husband or whatever the fuck relationship you want to be in. And, you're holding hands. It's a good day. You got some oxytocin hitting. You're just having, and then all of a sudden you see this old man. He's about 80 years old. He's walking okay, but he's got a little limp. You could tell he's hurting, but he's not on a walker or anything. He's doing good. And out of his briefcase falls out about, 10, 15 pieces of paper, and he doesn't even notice they're slipping out. And you run up there because you're like, you know what? I'm a good person. I need to take care of this guy. You pick up the 4 pieces. Hey, sir, stop real quick. Hey, you drop these paper. You get the serotonin rush from helping out the old man. He gets a serotonin rush from being helped and feeling valuable in society. And then you continue to walk. You walk about another 100 feet and you find this other man and he walks towards you and he goes, hey, I saw what you did for that guy back there. That's awesome. The world observes people or needs people like you. The guy that watched you create an act of kindness gets a serotonin rush from just being there and seeing it. So that's why in today's world, and this is one of those things that like I didn't understand what I'm starting to understand now. So I posted that video the other day. I went out to an event with Keaton the Muscle and Jason and 48 State Roof and a bunch of other guys. And we did one of those $100 tip dinners, right? We ended up tipping this this group. It was like 2 people, 2 food trucks that we brought out there, $10,000. And it's on my social media because of, social media clout. Motherfucker. And here's what all the haters say, because it's an easy one to hate on. It's an easy one to hate on. It's easy. Hey, dude, why don't you just do this shit and not publish it, not do this, not do that, and do it out of the generosity of your heart? I'm like, one, bitch, only poor people say that shit that have never fucking given in their entire fucking life. Like, let's be real. How about you just give fucking $10,000 and shut the fuck up? Because you ain't changing anyone's life being a broke bitch on the internet. 2, why do we actually do it? Why do we need to share it? Because morally, I'm kind of like, you know what? They do have a point, but fuck them. Like, I really don't care, but I do see their side of the things. Now I see this side. I see if no one sees you do that, no one's ever going to do it. No one's going to realize it's a thing. People are going to hide. They're going to hoard their money. But when they go out there and see greatness, or not greatness so much, but when they go out there and see generosity, you're more likely to do it. So keep fucking doing it. Keep publishing it. Keep spreading the world, because CNN's telling you can't. And fuck CNN, fuck Fox News. Like, quit spreading the negative and spread the positive. The other thing is, for the people who actually are worth a fucking damn in this world and actually enjoy society and actually like other human beings to be around and aren't some bitter little bitch in their mom's basement hating on motherfuckers on Facebook, for normal motherfuckers, you see something like that and you might not agree with it. It might not even be your thing, but you in the back of your mind, you get that little bit of a rush and you go, you know what? The average person that works a food truck probably makes $3,000 a month tops. And $10,000, because this wasn't the owners. We're not tipping the owners. We're tipping employees. And $10,000 in the pocket of someone who makes $3,000 a month, that's 2-3 months of income minimum. And that's not tax. I mean, don't fucking claim that on taxes. I mean, we put it on the internet. So depending on how much the IRS wants to go for it, they could probably prove some shit. But $10,000 of untaxed money, if your income is $3,000 a month, that's 3 or 4 months of income. Let's just be real. 3 or 4 months of income could be, and maybe you just go have a really good fucking month. And if that's you, fuck it. I don't care. Go do something fun. Go to fucking Italy. I don't give a shit. But realistically, the single mom, the single dad who's struggling to get by, who's on fucking food stamps, who's, just getting the shit kicked out of them and can't get a fucking win in life, that might be just enough to give them those 3 months of peace so they can fucking go to war, study for their real estate exam that they've been dreaming about, open that business they've been dreaming about, taking the risks that they've been scared of and getting into sales and doing it. And you're completely right, Paul. That's exactly what Mr. Beast did. And I was actually watching last night, before I passed out, Joe Rogan and Mr. Beast did an interview. I never even knew. It popped up on YouTube last night. Watched about the first 45 minutes of it. And if you haven't watched it, I fucking highly recommend it, because that kid is 23 years old, or at least when the recording was. That fucker is smart. Like, that is a fucking smart kid. And he says fuck a lot. I'm surprised, because I've seen his videos. I've never seen him raw, though. So anyways, watch that. But what I'm saying is, everyone gets a boost of serotonin. And even the hater gets a boost of serotonin. They just, can't admit that they like it. They can't admit they like drugs. Everybody likes drugs. Good drugs. These are the fun, love drugs. It's like, read books for a drug or some bullshit like that. I forgot. They taught us some shit like that in Dare. The only thing Dare taught me is how cool drugs looked. I was like, what? That looks like my type of shit. Luckily, I fucking didn't do it much, but, cool. Sorry, I'm taking a quick little read at my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything with serotonin. Then I want to smash oxytocin here very, very quickly and move on to questions. Oxytocin, honestly, get ready to write fast if you're taking notes. Otherwise, watch the recording later. Oxytocin's straight the love drug, right? It's the drug, it's the chemical that gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling. It's the chemical that when you pray, that when you sing Kumbaya in a fucking circle, that like you hold hands and you just feel fucking good. Like, have you ever been to one of those, maybe not, but you probably can imagine it, but hypnosis, right? Hypnosis releases a shit ton of oxytocin in certain circumstances. I'm not talking like comedic hypnosis, but I'm talking about when you're at that, Andy Elliott seminar and everyone's in sync together saying the same thing, and just so much trust, so much power of the team. And like, you just feel like you can take over the world. Oxytocin is the drug or the chemical that allows you to love, that allows you to trust. The longer you've been with someone, the actual more oxytocin that you get. Now I'm going to give some relationship advice. I'm going to give some business advice here. And this is something that I've been studying a lot lately and I've put together. So this is a little bit of my thesis, but if it comes out of my mouth, it's fucking fact, because I don't know why I'm special. But think about this, right? early on in a relationship, sexual or business, or romantic or business, sexual business, same fucking thing, sexual or business. Early on in the relationship, it's a dopamine hit after dopamine hit, right? Like you're so excited to see each other. And, you know, maybe you're trying to like early, like I'm talking because like I got married when I was like fucking 17 or no, I got married when I was 20, something like that, 20. But Brittany and I have been together since we were like 14 and 15. So like I don't actually know half the shit I say about relationships. I can only imagine. But I have friends. So anyways, so like let's go back to my relationship. Right? Here's a dopamine hit. Like, you know, you're fucking a young person and you're trying to get fucking laid. Like, let's just be real. That's every man's fucking dream in life. Some of you have more fucking discipline than others, but we're all trying to run around the world and get fucking laid. And like early in the relationship, you're getting those consistent dopamine hits here. You're getting those consistent dopamine hits there. What are those? That's like, oh my gosh, she let me hold her hand, or oh my gosh, we finally kissed. Oh my gosh, we finally made out. And then like, that's enough for a while because you get the little dopamine hit. And then you finally get fucking laid and like, whew, you got the endorphins, you got the fucking dopamine, you got the oxytocin, you got all the shit hits at once during sex. Like if anyone's fucking ever like been in a bad mood, try having sex. You could be fucking pissed off as fuck. And chemically, you cannot stay pissed the fuck off to the end of it. Might take you a while to get there. But here's the thing. Early in the relationship, you get little dopamine hits from absolutely everything you do because it's a goal. As a guy early in the relationship, it's a goal to see if you can fucking, stick your fucking tongue down her throat. Like real talk, go back to fucking high school because that's what I'm talking from right now. Go back to high school. The first time you tried to get a kiss, the first time you were trying to make out, you're like, oh, how do I make the move? I mean, is she gonna like, what is she gonna fucking tell you to go away? Like, what's the worst thing that happens? But you're so nervous. You're so like, you don't know to do it. You don't know if you've done enough work yet. And then you do it and you're like, blah, blah, blah. And like next thing you know is like, holy shit, you get that rush and you feel it. And you're like, oh my God, you accomplished a fucking goal. It's like what I'm telling you to do for business right now. But then what happens is over time. So now I'm 35 years old. So I've been married 15 years together, 18. So what happens over time is that next chemical, which is actually a stronger bonding chemical, comes in, and it's called oxytocin. Oxytocin starts replacing dopamine in relationships because early in the relationship, and it's like sales, it's like business. Day one, week one, month one, you're just so fucking excited to be there. You're so excited you got the opportunity. You're so excited that you sold your first car that you've ever sold. Bam, dopamine rush. You freaking got your first 2-car day. Bam, dopamine rush. You freaking made your first $10,000 check. Bam, dopamine rush. Your managers are the fucking greatest people in the world because they told you how to double your income and it actually fucking worked. And then after 6 months, a year, you start developing trust. And this is where a lot of leaders get confused. And this is where a lot of employees or entrepreneurs don't really understand what's happening. You start losing those daily rushes of dopamine. One, you replace them with social media because you get comfortable at the office and you dick around on Facebook and order Uber Eats all day. And, selling a car isn't fun anymore. You average 30 a month. You're doing pretty well. You're making 210 grand a year. Like, life's getting pretty good. And you just can't figure out why you're struggling to get to the next level or things don't make it. Well, what's happening is oxytocin is taking in. You start to trust your environment more. You start to trust yourself more. You start trusting your relationship. All of a sudden, the girlfriend that was, had you hot and heavy every minute, all of a sudden she becomes more of wife material and it's more of a comfort thing. You're more of doing life in a companionship way. And you get confused because you're like, holy fuck, I truly, truly love you. I truly want to spend the rest of my life with you. But sometimes you lose that little spark. And then as a man, you think back to fucking early teenage years and that like fucking weird spark you have. You're like, why can't we find it? Well, it's because you've replaced the dopamine with the oxytocin and it's more of a long-term relationship now. So if you want to go to relationship advice, just do some fucking crazy shit and, get the dopamine hits back or whatever the fuck it is. But the oxytocin is what's going to keep you in that trusting relationship over and over again. It's what's going to make you feel comfortable in that relationship to go ahead and take that stress or go ahead and take that risk of doing something a little bit bigger and better than you've ever done before. It's going to be that, in a positive manner, it's going to be that chemical that allows the person that you are with to push you further than you think you are. I saw this, the definition of love, the best definition of love I've ever read, and write this down. And this is business, this is sexual relationships, this is fucking everything, is giving somebody else the ability to destroy you as a person but trusting they will not do it. Trusting they will not use whatever information or whatever tool you gave them that could potentially destroy you. Because really, that's what a relationship is about. That is what a relationship brings, is like, hey, I'm, going to give you, all trust in my world and whatever the fuck your vows are and this and that and do and die. But like, there's a reason the United States of America, and I can't remember what court case it is, somebody versus somebody, but a married couple, when one person gets in trouble, goes to court for whatever fucking reason, a married couple does not have to testify they cannot be summoned to testify. So if I end up murdering a bitch or something worse, maybe, and my wife's got my back, true fucking homie, she is the only person, minus my attorney who has client privileges, whatever, client attorney privileges. Beyond my attorney, she is the only person that cannot be called to testify. My wife, that's it. My married couple, not my fucking kids, not my best fucking homie back in the day, not the person living at my house because whatever. My wife is the only person beyond my attorney that cannot be called to stand to testify, even if she fucking visually saw me do it. Now, they might be able to charge her with some other shit or accessory or some shit like that, but she does not have to testify against me. It's legally like that. Why? Because in a marriage, in a deep, deep relationship, you have to give power to the other person and really trust that they ain't going to use it. If you're not doing some shit like that, your relationship ain't that fucking deep, because they've got to know some shit about you. They've got to have some dirty, especially if you've been in a relationship for 15 years. Like everything I fucked up, she knows about. So how do we get fucking oxytocin, how do we get oxy rushes? Not oxy, but oxytocin rushes from time to time. Oxy doesn't actually work. It just chills you the fuck out. 2 beers, you quit breathing. It's fucking amazing. Anyways, physical contact releases oxytocin. Like, real talk. If you're pissed off at your partner, you guys are having a fucking fight, try holding hands, looking at each other in the eyes, and having a conversation. You're probably going to quit fucking yelling at each other. You'll have the same words. You'll talk the same kind of. I mean, you'll probably be too fucking nervous to do it, but it'll release oxytocin, and that feeling of trust might come back. Now, if there's a level of trust and betrayal that it becomes trauma, blah, 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 it's not going to work. But, and I'm not saying a perfect relationship, but I'm saying in most relationships, physical contact. That's why the Elliott group, we hug motherfuckers. Like, and I think it's fucking weird. Like, I'm just going to be the first one to say it. I do not come from touchy-feely. Like, I've got a little PTSD. I don't like motherfuckers touching me because it kind of brings up a different one called fucking my adrenaline, and I want to punch people. But like, go have someone give you a hug for like a couple extra seconds, just a little bit beyond comfortable. And as long as they don't make a move and they kind of just walk, like they leave and you go, what the fuck? Like, that actually kind of felt good. It's called oxytocin. You cannot, for the most part, for most of us, control that feeling. Holding hands. That's why people hold a hand in a relationship. It's fucking pointless. As a matter of fact, as a way of survival, it makes it worse, because if someone mugs you, I've got to let go of your hand and then defend you. But it gives you the oxytocin. Here's a big one. And here's one, and then we're going to finish it up and go to questions. And I appreciate everyone giving me some overtime today. So I talked about, and I don't talk shit on people, but what the fuck is with my camera? I talked about a guy that I went and saw, a public speaker. It was a public speaking course. I like learning from many different people. Talked to the guy afterwards, this and that, and we got along for the most part. He made a couple comments that I wasn't a fan of. I was wearing Elliott Group gear, and we kind of cover a rep with who we are, but it was good. It wasn't too offensive. He tried making a dig at me. I made a dig at him. It was like that. It was that competitive, like we talk shit for it, but it was an understanding. So I'm cool with that. I like that shit. So at the end of it, I go thank him, and I'm like, hey man, yeah, that was pretty good. Like, shake his hand, tell him good job. Here's the thing: I say shake his hand, but that's a lie. So I can't remember what he says to me, but I don't know. We were talking something, and I go to shake his hand. I put my hand out and look him in the eyes like a fucking man would. And he goes, sorry, I don't shake people's hands. Look at him. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, you get it. You travel a lot. I'm like, no, bitch. We don't shake people's hands either. I have to hug motherfuckers all day. It's not that I don't, I get used to it. It is genuine when I do it, but it did take me a little bit of like, all right, fuck it. I got to fake this a little bit so I get used to it. Now I just don't give a shit, because I know you're more awkward than I am now, and that makes me feel good inside. But this motherfucker wouldn't even shake my hand. Imagine this. And once again, I'm speaking from the male perspective, because I only know the male perspective. I've been taught as a man, I'm 34 years old. So some of you 22-year-olds don't know this shit, because I don't know what the fuck happened to the world. I think COVID had a huge thing. As a man, I was taught that anytime you do business or meet someone, you shake their hand. firm fucking grip, and you look them in the fucking eyes. And I don't know where we lost that shit. And I'm going to do it just to piss people off. So if you want to be all woke and shit and I shake your hand, I think it's fucking funny when you get pissed off at me. But this guy refused to shake my hand. And I was actually in the back of my mind considering maybe dropping a couple $1,000s with him, going to his event, maybe even getting his fucking course. I don't fucking know. But the minute you refuse to shake my hand, you're a piece of shit, dude. Like, I shower. I present myself as a clean individual. I don't look fucking homeless. Like, what the fuck? Now, maybe he has some serious bullshit medical condition. I don't fucking know. Make that shit public if you don't shake hands. So, but I'll never do business with him because he refuses to shake my hand. And I never actually understood why we do that. It's serotonin. When we go to seal a business deal and you and I talked about this big deal and you're like, hey, shit, man, let's fucking do it. You know, ink signed all of this. You put your hand out to shake my hand and I refuse to shake your hand. Are you going to continue with that deal? Or are you going to rip up that contract and walk away? I won't. If anyone ever wants to do business with me and my hand goes out, you better shake it or we're fucking done. Because I need that oxytocin, because I need that trust as a human. I need that physical connection. And I could dive a lot deeper into it about how, you know, there is a violence aspect about it. When I make that physical connection with you, there is a little bit of that, hey, motherfucker, we're doing business together. And when shit, you know, threatens me, threatens my family, what do? I put your ass down. Not really. It's what I imagine in my head because I'm a fucking badass. But if it got big enough, and if we go to our true human, like, you know, if we go to our chemical level as a human, that's why we do shit. We do shit to avoid pain. And what's a good, you know, form of pain? Getting your fucking nose broke. Like, once again, I'm 35 years old. How many of you males, once again, I speak from the male perspective because I don't fucking understand females and I'm not a female. I'm not going to try to speak from your perspective. But how many of us are males? I had 3 brothers. You know how we figured out who was right? And here's probably why I think I'm always right. And I have this thing about my opinions being great is I had 3 brothers. I was the oldest and I was significantly bigger than most of them. And it wasn't until about 16, one of them could start challenging me. So whenever we had an argument, it didn't matter who was right. Fists flew. A couple people got hit. We weren't trying to kill each other. But whoever won the fucking fight was the one that was right. Facts did not fucking matter. Like, let's just be real. Facts didn't fucking matter because you learned, hey, if I'm going to argue, if I'm going to talk shit, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do that, is it worth the ass kicking? Now, I have a pretty big mouth. I like talking shit. And, you know, luckily I'm about 6'2", 225, 226 pounds right now. So, like, I have a pretty big frame. But at the same time, there's occasional times in my life where I've been like, you know what? This potential ass kicking doesn't look like something I'm willing to take on right now. And it keeps me shutting the fuck up. And I have no idea how I got to that part of the conversation from oxytocin, other than a handshake is a form of, hey, let's do business. Let's, you know, establish trust through connection and real talk. Get that. So oxytocin, make contact with people. Don't be a 6-foot fucking pansy. Like, we all took the masks off. We realized they were fucking fake. I mean, they were fake the whole fucking time. But we realized that it was all a fucking conspiracy to break people up. John's giving me the fucking finger by accident. I love it. But real talk. Make contact with people. Shake fucking hands. Be part of it. Pat someone on the back. Those are all expressions that release oxytocin. When you're on the football field and someone slaps you on the ass, it's oxytocin that you're releasing over and over and over again. So if anyone has questions, raise the little hand thing. Let's answer a few questions. If anyone needs to go, we are in overtime, so don't feel like you got to stay or anything. But I'll open up to questions. That's all I've got today is, you know, just, you know, how to freaking control yourself, how to freaking get that that crackhead feeling for your success again of really, really wanting it. So I'll give it a couple seconds if anyone's got anything. If not, we'll cut it out. Oh, shit. My man, Mr. Rankin, all the way from Deutschland.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, your German is better than my English.
Yeah, that's all I know.
So how do you get yourself every morning like in the state of like dopamine, whatever rush?
So a big part of it is honestly, you're not going to have a dopamine rush all day. And the problem is in modern society, we've tried to create a dopamine rush all day and no one tells you it's fucking wrong. Because here's a way. Let me tell you how you guys all on this call can basically have a dopamine rush all day. Become an alcoholic and become a fucking crackhead. And fucking the minute you wake up, hit a line of fucking coke and hit it every 20 minutes throughout the day and you will have a dopamine rush all fucking day. But the problem is that depletes your system and it makes you not want to chase anything. So that's a big issue we've had in society, is we have made it normal to have a dopamine rush all day. And our cocaine now is social media, is waking up in the morning thinking I need to get out of bed and fucking bam, I'm ready to go. You know, I guess I could, you know, hire someone to come like try to fucking mug you every morning and wake you up that way. But realistically, what you need to do is you need to create a hunger for dopamine, so that when you wake up, you're so fucking starving that you need to go get a fucking kill. You need to go kill the fucking boar so you can put it on the grill tonight so you and your family can eat. That way, when you wake up, you're so hungry that you're wanting to chase that dopamine that you go out and you get fucking shit done. So the dopamine itself ain't going to come when you wake up. The first way you could start inducing, you know, getting yourself to a state where dopamine starts to kick in is you've got to focus on the endorphins first. So you need to go to the fucking gym. You need to go do something physical that the endorphins can kick in to mask the pain of whatever you're creating. Or I don't know, honestly, laugh. Like a lot of times on like my way to work, and Ian and Evan Macklin, who I just saw come in, one of them told me this, watch fucking like a stand-up comedy or listen to a stand-up comedy on the way to work. Not only does it give me new word tracks, gives me a little humor to throw into my game, but it actually starts to release endorphins when I laugh. So when I get to the office, I'm kind of in a better mood, and you're more likely in that good mood, that positive mood, that mood to keep pushing, and that drive, which is your endorphins, will get you to the dopamine. Your dopamine comes from a win of some sort. So you have to get a win, but you have to make yourself hungry for that win. If you're constantly searching social media, if you're constantly doing this, if you're constantly doing that, you'll get little wins all day. If you want the little wins, become a fucking cokehead. You'll have it all fucking day. But here's the thing. Think about this, right? If I wake up in the morning and within 10 minutes of my alarm going off, if I've got to bump a line of Coke or I've got to fucking, you know, take a shot of whiskey, I'm an alcoholic or a drug addict, right? 100%. So what happens if I wake up and I need to chase dopamine within 10 minutes? Social media, scroll some fucking reels, check my email. Like, how many of you love, like real talk, how many of you get a quick little dopamine rush every time that your phone goes off? You know, your little text message button or your email. Your email is better when you get a little email notification. You get a quick little dopamine rush and you're like, oh, fuck, I got to check my email. And you're happy. And then you see the email and you're like, oh, fuck, it's trash again. Like, we know our email's trash. No one gets good emails, but they've created a dopamine rush for the little ding that our email gets. And then we check, we don't even want to see the email. So don't expect dopamine to flow through your system all day, every day, because then you become a dopamine addict and you're full. You don't need anymore. So you won't go chase the big picture. You need to get the endorphins up so you have the drive to go kill. You have the drive to go win. You have the drive to go succeed. And then when you win, when you hit the goals, when you make the kill, then that dopamine skyrockets. And then you're going to get that big fucking hit. You're not going to get the uncomfortable hit. You're going to get the hit that just boom, fucking blows up. Super Bowl, fucking confetti falls, like that level of feeling. It's like Kobe Bryant said that he was interviewed after game 2. They were 2-0 of some fucking playoff thing. He said, hey, you must be feeling pretty good. You're destroying it in the finals. You're 2-0. And he goes, I don't know what there's to feel good about. Job not done. Job not done. Feel good about what? Job's not done. That's all he said. Because if he gave himself that rush, is he going to play as hard next game? Or is he going to be comfortable? He needs the fucking hunger. He needs the fucking battle. So that's what I say. You ain't going to get dopamine, and that's where the different understanding of the chemicals comes into play. You're not going to get dopamine by just waking up and getting going. Now, let's just say you have a thing that you want to wake up at 5 a.m. and you always hit snooze. Well, for maybe a week in a row, you actually wake up and get out of bed at 5 a.m. You're going to get some dopamine hits from that. But after it becomes natural, after it becomes a habit, that dopamine is going to be gone. You're going to have to go do something else. So depending on where you are, you can get it that way, but don't expect it because you should chase it. All right, I saw one hand go up a second ago, but it went down. Does anybody else got anything? Paul, you got something, my brother?
I just got something to add to what you were saying about waking up in the morning for our friend right there. What I do every morning is I take 30 deep breaths, 3 sets of 30 deep breaths. It's hard at first. You start getting really lightheaded, but once you get through that third set, you're just like, I don't know if it's dopamine or anything like that, but you're rushing your body with oxygen, and it's better than coffee. To be honest with you, you just got to get through that lightheadedness and keep on doing it, and then you get used to it. And then some people cold plunge, but that ain't for me.
Yeah, it's actually for both of those, breath work and cold plunge. It's actually an endorphin rush, and it makes you that feel of drive, because especially with the cold plunge, when you do it, you get that fight or flight response that kicks in, and then the endorphins, fire to get rid of the cold. breath works the same way. It's slightly uncomfortable. Who is it? It's the Wim Hof. Do you do like Wim Hof stuff, Paul? Okay. So yeah, if anyone, I fucked with it a little bit. I really like
Gary
it.
Braca. Gary Braca.
Okay. Little Gary right there, little 10x health. So all of that very, very similar. I've tried breath work. If you ever want to do it, it's fun. Wim Hof is pretty cool. You could be in the shittiest shape of your life and hold your breath for 2 minutes, like within a week. It's some pretty cool stuff how they do. So anybody else got anything? We'll give it about 10 more seconds. And if not, we'll sign off today.
Check the chat.
I got a lot of shit in the chat. I can't read though. Did anybody draw me a picture or something? I have a question about weed smoking. All right. Sal, are you there? What's your question about smoking weed? I smoke weed and work hard, but maybe I can do better. Okay. Good question, my dude. Good question. So real talk, man. And Paul, I agree with your thumbs down, but here's the thing. I was the same way, dude. I'm a fucking killer alcoholic. Like I am number motherfucking one. And I've been sober. Brittany, how long have I been sober? I don't know, 4 or 5 months, some bullshit like that. I can't remember. Maybe it's 3, 4 or 5 months. And I've always done these little binges where I'll drink a shit ton and then I'll sober up for a while. Here's the thing. I will fuck 90% of the population up drinking half a fifth every fucking night, passing out, waking up, not really even getting into my groove till noon and starting to drink again at 5 p.m. I will destroy 90% of the population. Like real talk. I was making over 300,000 a year, running fucking selling cars, running dealerships. And I was a fucking great alcoholic. Number one. And when I drink to compete. Like if I got a buddy over, bitch, you ain't out drinking. Like that's the type of person I am. It's bad. And I never truly understood how much I was really giving up until I just said, you know what? I'm not going to stay sober for life. I'm not going to stay sober for a month. I'm not going to stay sober for 2 months. I'm just going to stay sober for a little bit. And that's kind of this path I'm on right now. Is I didn't really give myself a time. I didn't really give myself a goal, but I'm finally to this place that like I've been 100% sober, nothing, but for a while, but I'm finally to this place where one of two things happen. One, I realized how fucking retarded I am. I realized that even though I was fucking up 90% of the population, how much I was actually leaving on the table by being a drunk. Like my mind is so much clearer now. My ability to learn, take in information, have these conversations is clear. And if you guys noticed, if you go back to my calls a year ago, I never talked about sobriety. I never talked about alcoholism. Why? Because I'm not fucking fake. I'm not going to talk about something I'm not doing in my own fucking life. But like I found this, and I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not saying it's for everybody. You know, I know a lot of people that can go have 2 or 3 drinks once or twice a month and they're fine and they don't even think about it. But for me, if I have 2 or 3 drinks, 2 or 3 turns into 4 or 5, 4 or 5 turns into fuck yeah, it's a good evening. So you've got to like, you're good, man. Don't be embarrassed about that shit. If you hide who the fuck you really are, you can't change. So you've got to ask yourself this, Sal, like weed, one, I think fucking weed's alcohol. I think weed's better for you than alcohol. I don't really know the science, but like real talk, it, you know, like no one beats women on weed. Like, let's just be real. It makes people like each other for the most part. And like, what's the worst? You're going to get pulled over for doing 25 and a 65. Yeah, there's some danger there, but it's not what alcohol is. However, are you achieving every single one of your fucking goals that you have right now? Are you truly the 1% in your fucking industry? Are you 100% content with every other part of your life? Dude, if you've got Elon Musk money and you want to smoke some fucking weed, if you're Joe Rogan, you've got the #1 podcast in the nation, you're the fucking voice of the UFC, you own 14 other companies, you want to smoke some weed, by all fucking means, go for it. Enjoy the living fuck out of it. But if you're waking up every day, if you're on the grind, if you're looking for the dopamine hit, if you're not achieving every goal that you've put out for yourself, if you're behind where you need to be, if you've made your wife, your kids promises that you haven't hit yet, dude, you don't have fucking time for weed. And it's not so much that weed's going to ruin your life per se, but it's the fact you just don't like you haven't earned the motherfucking shit. And I guarantee you this, it slows you down. I tried smoking pot for a while. I tried after I got out of the military, I tried using it for fucking insomnia, shit like that. It kind of worked. It made me fucking like, okay, I'd quit worrying about the stress of life and all that shit. But then I'd start worrying, like my house would creak and all of a sudden I became a fucking engineer. I would try to figure out why the fuck the house was going to fall down. Or, you know, when I smoked weed, dude, I became lazy as fuck. Like I didn't get any work done. I didn't get billed. And like any of my ideas were fucking stupid. They never got accomplished. And then I'd sober up. I'd go back to my own bullshit sober self. So essentially it just robs you of time. So here's what I would say. Yeah, you could use weed to cover up anxiety or whatever bullshit excuse you have, or you could just fucking figure out how to trigger some of these freaking emotions. You could figure out how to trigger some of those chemicals in your life, because here's the other thing about weed. It's going to mask those chemicals. it's going to create fake chemicals in your life. So when you do hit that big goal, you're not going to get the dopamine rush. You're still going to want to get the high because that's a chemical you're putting in the body to change it. So do I think it's bad? No. But do I think you should probably fucking earn it? Absolutely. And if you're not 100% where you are, you don't have the right to smoke weed. Till you've got musk money and you're fucking landing rockets back down on Earth, I'd cut it from my life. But it's a decision you have to make, man. And, you know, I dealt with it so much in my life with alcohol of, you know, everyone telling me I should quit drinking, wife telling me I should quit drinking, fuck, kids telling me I should quit drinking, friends telling me I should quit drinking. And until I truly wanted to do it, and until I truly decided that I wanted to live my best life, yeah, I'd do it for a month or two here, but it wouldn't last anywhere. So it's got to come from here, dude. My thing is, look at yourself. Are you happy where you're at? Have you achieved everything? Yes or no? If it's no, cut out distractions. And that would be a huge one. I'd honestly write down, man. I'd honestly write down your priorities, and I'd write down how many things you give up for weed. And I would make it visual of all the things you're not accomplishing for weed. And then maybe put a fucking picture of those over a fucking pot leaf or some shit. So you can remember all the things that you've given up or slowed down and make it fucking painful. I make 1K days while smoking, enjoying my day. Dude, 1K doesn't even fucking...
That's not, I'm not saying that to flex. I was talking to Paul because he was saying like, I'm probably doing nothing, but I'm saying like, while I'm making $1,000, I'm also kind of smoking at the same time. So I'm just enjoying my day. It's not like I'm like home doing nothing, playing games all day, but you're right, Jonathan. I enjoyed everything you said. And when it comes to masking the key endorphins you spread, that's pretty fire.
Okay. I love it, man. And here's the thing, dude, like the fact, and don't take this as me dogging you, this is coaching. The fact that stupid shit came out of your mouth, dude, $1,000 a day, that doesn't pay my mortgage. That doesn't pay my car notes. That doesn't pay fucking most of my bills. That doesn't even, North Scottsdale, that doesn't even, I can't even live a week on that shit. Like real talk. And I'm not trying to flex. I'm not trying to brag, but like, dude, weed is the reason you said that statement. Oh, I'm making dude, I was making $10,000 a fucking week as an alcoholic. Ah, cool. Like, fuck, spend that much on alcohol a month. But real talk, just the fact that you said that, man, just tells me like, it's small thinking, man. You're justifying, well, I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than my parents did. I'm doing better than this guy. I'm doing better than this guy who's working at McDonald's. And so cool. You can justify that all the way. The heroin in your arm will numb the fucking pain until it doesn't. And the fact that you asked the question tells me you're not happy where you're at. So I love you, brother. There's no dogging you there, man. But yeah, just go balls deep into it, dude. Go balls deep into it and really ask yourself who you are. And the sooner you drop it, the easier it becomes. Mark Mendes says, try it for the next 3 months, see what happens. Worst case scenario, you save $300. Mark, I love that, but honestly, I don't agree with that. I tried that for so much of my life. Try this for 3 months, try this for 6 months, dude. Until you're really ready to say fuck it, like, dude, smoke fucking weed. If you ain't going to jail and you ain't doing this and you're not ready to give it up, smoke fucking weed and keep writing down everything you're failing to hit every fucking day. Because until you're ready to give it up for life, or until you're ready to give it up until you get a big, hairy, audacious goal, as Patrick Bet-David would say, like, it's going to be so hard. 3 months ain't shit in fucking life. And I'm just speaking from personal experience. I tried the 90-day thing, and for me, it was like a goal. Like, I turned a dopamine rush into, holy fuck, if I stay sober for 90 days, I get that drink again. And then like at day 91, I'm like, holy fuck, I can get a good buzz on 2 beers again. Now I can drink for cheaper. This was fucking genius. And then 3 months later, I'm fucking half a fifth again. So I don't know. I tried the 90-day thing. I fucking hated it. It finally just had to be like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we'll just see what happens. Energy, doorway for, masking dopamine. My brother drinks like once a week, but only when it's earned. Yeah, dude. And the thing is, I believe most things in moderation are fine. You could fucking do whatever you want in moderation. And as long as it's not keeping you back from your goals, as long as it's not holding you back, like real, but at the same time, be careful. You're not just saying that language to mask a pain. To make sure you're not like, well, weed, I'm making $1,000 a month or a week, blah, blah, blah. It's not that bad. But in the inside, you're like, man, I don't have the fucking BMW I want. I haven't been able to buy the house. Like, be real with who you are and make sure the drugs aren't masking it. If you're the type of person, by all means, that can drink once a month, drink once a quarter, whatever it is, smoke a bowl every night, like Musk style. Like the dude smokes. Joe Rogan smokes. There's a bunch of people out there that have made it to smoke and do shrooms, shit like that. By all means, them motherfuckers have earned it. Like straight up. If I had if I was worth 172 billion fucking dollars, like, whoo, I'd do all the fucking drugs. God damn. Like, real talk. The problem is I'm missing about 172 billion of the 172 billion. So I haven't had the right to enjoy it. And I took my 20s, man. I enjoyed my fucking 20s. I enjoyed my 20s too much, dude. I got out of the military and I went to making high six figures so fucking quick. So from like 25 to 30, I had a fuck ton of fun making $300,000-$400,000 a year, living like I was making $2.5 million. Trust me, wife, family, we did some cool shit. We did some really cool shit. We've driven cool cars, had fucking beautiful homes, multiples of them. The thing is, like, if I look back at it now, I should probably have a couple million in the bank. Like, just real talk. I've looked at my salary, for the past decade. I should probably have a couple million in the bank if I was smart. Maybe if I struggled those first 4 or 5 years and I lived like I was making 50, I'd easily have a few million in the bank. Problem is, I've had about 8 BMWs, fucking $100,000 GMCs. I got 4 fucking cars right now. Now, a couple of them are being like Turoed and shit like that. So finally, I'm starting to figure out some other ways to do some shit. But what do you want? What do you want? It's about you, man, because none of this works if you don't find the true you, if you don't find the true drive, if you don't find any of that. Like, you could want to be sober, you could want to quit smoking weed. Hell, maybe you just, I don't know, smoke a fuck ton of weed. I don't fucking know. But if you're not where you want to be, eliminate the shit that could be keeping you back. Trying to justify smoking weed, money is the exact problem. Blah, 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 wrong, masking it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, man. If you're where you want to be and you want to get high, fuck yeah, do it. If you're not, cut the distraction. So I'm going to get off. We went hour and 30 today. I appreciate the hell out of everyone else. Really look at your life. Really find how you could create these chemicals every single day, because if you could live life on a 24-hour fucking orgasm, I promise you, life becomes a lot easier. So get those daily wins, get those daily goal wins, and yeah, y'all fucking crush it.